Thank you everyone for joining us. It's amazing to have so many people here. It just sort of started off as a test run really for webinars. It's the first one that we've done before. We're hoping to do another one with Professor Clinton Rubin later in the year. So this was just a test run, and then we got 130 people signed up. So a test run turned out being quite a big baptism by fire. But thank you all for coming, and thank you all for submitting your questions already. So my name's Leah. I am the office manager here at MyBones. And yeah, we're just going to have a little chat really. We'll be talking about osteoporosis in general. We'll be talking about the Marodyne LiV device, whole body vibration, low intensity vibration. And we also have Francine Zimbalist, who's our special guest as well, who will be talking about exercise for osteoporosis, which is brilliant. So we're excited to have her on the panel. So in terms of what we'll be running through, I think Alison will just be giving a little bit of a basics around osteoporosis. We'll move on to a video about some setting up, how to use the device, some Q&A at the end as well. There is a little Q&A section at the bottom of your screens, I believe. So if you have any questions at all that you haven't already asked, or if we haven't answered them for you, do just pop them in there and we'll hopefully be able to answer everyone's questions at the end. So without further ado, I will pop you across through to Alison Millichip, who is the business manager here at MyBones. She's also a registered nurse in South Africa, and she'll talk you through some basics.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us all today. It's wonderful to have you all. As Leah said, it was a surprise, but a really wonderful surprise. And it has highlighted your desire for the knowledge and to actually share in things about Marodyne, things about bone health and nutrition. And we will be doing more of these, collaborating with more people in different facets of life to keep you all up to date. Now, osteoporosis, I know you have all researched to the end of the moon and back, because I've had wonderful discussions with most of you regarding osteoporosis and the Marodyne LiV. Osteoporosis is a devastating diagnosis, but it's not a devastating disease. It is something that we can manage. We do have the power to control it. Just as we do with menopause, and sorry to all the gentlemen, if there are any gentlemen with us, recently been shown that that menopause is just a natural progression of our life. So is osteoporosis. Our bones develop until the age of 35, and after that, they start to degenerate. They reabsorb. And what has been important is that we're finding ways that we can actually combat osteoporosis, that we can deal with osteopenia, and we can get rid of the anxiety and the fear that we have when somebody says, you have osteoporosis. Remember, it's a diagnosis. It is not a life sentence. It's silent. It progresses gradually over the years as we age. And the time it is diagnosed most often, sadly, is when we do finally break a bone. Now, there are ways that we can actually circumvent waiting for that diagnosis, because it is undiagnosed. As I've said to many of you on the telephone, 2.2 million spinal fractures go undiagnosed in the NHS every year. That is a scary statistic when people are walking around with pain in their back and they don't know why, and everybody is just ignoring it. We have the ability to now have our DEXA scans, and as you know, it is something I promote a lot with all of you, encouraging you to have DEXA scans. You don't have to wait for the NHS, because we do the reimbursement scheme, which is incredibly important, which allows you to have your DEXA scans to once again take control of your diagnosis, or finding out if you do actually have osteoporosis. It is undertreated, and it is underappreciated in the effect that it has on people's lives. The anxiety that we suffer, the impact on our relationships, all the way down to the relationships we have with our partners. We become fearful of playing with our grandchildren, of walking the dog, because am I going to fall over? Am I going to break a bone? What's going to happen to me? So osteoporosis needs to be shouted about. It is something that needs to be discussed, spoken about, and understood for what it is, and the fact that we can do something about it.
So what would you say about people who are looking to get DEXAs? I know that lots of you have asked questions about whether it's DEXAs are the best way to go or REMS. I don't know if any of you have heard about both, but I think Ali, you might be able to sort of tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. I most certainly will do my best. DEXA scans in the UK are the gold standard that are used by the NHS and the Royal Osteoporosis Society. REMS is not accepted as yet as a diagnostic tool by the Royal Osteoporosis Society. And all of us hold it in quite high regard. It's very important that we're able to look at previous DEXA scans that we've had, or if we're going to start having scans to see where we are, if our disease is progressing, are we managing to maintain it, that we stick to one scan. If you're using DEXA scans, please continue to have DEXA scans. If you have a DEXA scan and then you have a REMS, there will be a difference. There are two different technologies involved, and your results will be different. So please do remember that if you're going to swap from one to the other, you will need to give yourself that 12 months before you can say, oh, right, I have improved or I haven't improved, because the difference in technology. REMS is very, very highly thought of in America and is coming into its own in Australia. It just isn't sort of recognized here, though it is a very successful way of doing it. With your DEXA scans, a number of you have been exceptionally concerned about the high exposure to radiation. Please remember with your DEXA scans, the exposure to the radiation is so low that the technician or radiographer can in actual fact sit in the room with you and probably spends half the day with people who are having DEXA scans. So your exposure to radiation is far less than we believe.
Brilliant, thank you. So another question, obviously. So in terms of vibration, I think it'd be useful to hear about where it all began with the man himself, Professor Clinton Rubin. So Ali, if you'd be able to talk through a little bit about him, that'd be brilliant.
Well, I can. Professor Rubin is, I just think he's probably one of the most laid back, lovely people that I've had the privilege of being able to speak with. On one occasion, I think I have watched I've watched his videos and his webinars almost like a groupie at a pop section. He's so entertaining. If you haven't as yet seen any of his webinars, please do have a. To give him his credibility that is due, I'm going to read just a little synopsis on Professor Rubin because I cannot remember all these details. So, he spent his life studying vibration therapy after he decided that he didn't have enough of a creative talent to become an architect and develop creative homes. So fortunately for us, he's put his creativity or looking at creativity in the development of bones. He holds 30 patents in the area of wound repair, stem cell regulation, and treatment of metabolic disease. He was the founder of Juvent, the Marodyne, and Lahara Bio. This is a great time to actually say, why did he leave Juvent? Because it is a question that some of you have asked. He was part of the group that developed the very first and original Juvent machine, which worked on the basis of the precise setting and magnitude that could not be changed. It was after this that members of the team started to change the settings. They started to add more and more settings into the Juvent to give people an option to have different therapies. And Professor Rubin felt so strongly about this situation that he left the team and he left the company. And as he says, you don't go into your doctor and he doesn't give you a bottle of bisphosphonates and say, here, take as many as you feel like taking and let me know how you feel in the morning. You are given a very specific regimen that you have to follow because that is the therapy that works. And that is why he left Juvent, not for any other reason apart from the fact that he felt that people were tampering with what had been based as scientific proof as a signal that worked. He's conducted clinical trials, which he says, for all of you who say to me quite often, do we have a trial on this? Do we have a trial on that? And it's really quite funny when he says, and when, you know, in speaking to him about clinical trials, he'll say it's very difficult to have people that you can actually rely on in clinical trials. It's the same as I've been very inquisitive about one regarding pain, and we'll discuss that later on. But pain is very subjective, and it's very difficult to get people to say, does it work for you for pain or not? Getting compliance or having compliance from people as well when you're doing a clinical trial makes it very difficult for him. But having said all that, he has managed to write 300 articles to date, and he has been cited over 35,000 times. So I would say that we can rely on what he is saying and the trials that he's been involved in. And a lot of the work that Professor Rubin does, he does with his sister, Professor Janet Rubin, who does a lot of work on cellular level, which allows him and the team to work and to actually find out without doing the experiments. Sorry, they're not experiments, are they? Without doing the clinical trials on human people, they can get the cells of the body to mimic what is actually happening in real life before they bring it to us. So Professor Rubin is definitely somebody to be revered, and I'm most definitely a fan of his.
But it's not to say that he invented vibration. I think it's important to say that, you know, the whole body vibration has been around for thousands of years.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And he's never made any claim. In actual fact, he normally always makes a point of saying he did not discover vibration therapy, because he makes mention of your dinosaurs and the fact that vibration has been associated with gravity for as long as the world has been around, because it is vibration that makes everything happen. So no, he didn't discover it. He developed and was able to pioneer and identify the signal that our cells respond to. That is where Professor Rubin came in.
Amazing. So in terms of vibration therapy, I know that there are lots of different vibration devices out there. So it might be useful to maybe talk us through what sort of vibrations there are, whether it's high intensity, low intensity, whole body. What does it all mean?
Right. This is probably a very good time to mention as well the cost of the Marodyne LiV device, because then you can all tie it together. As I've just explained about Professor Rubin, you have an absolute minefield out there of whole body vibration therapy, which is high and low intensity. And please, at this point, it is important to understand that anything that shakes your entire body is whole vibration therapy. The one thing that is not done is that there is not the differentiation made between high intensity vibration therapy and low intensity vibration therapy. It is important to know that is the difference. Your precise signal that causes or gives you the contraindications and the risk factors is your high intensity body vibration therapy. It is dangerous. It is contraindicated in many, many diseases, particularly osteoporosis. With your low intensity vibration therapy, it is specific. You cannot change the settings. The machine calibrates according to you. You don't have the choice to change it. Just like your medication, you do exactly as you're told. But with the low intensity vibration, with the Marodyne LiV device, the device calibrates, you stand on the device, It weighs you, though fortunately it doesn't tell you how much you weigh. Well, in my case anyway, I'm very happy it doesn't tell me. And then it gives you precisely 0.4 G at 30 hertz. That is the therapeutic dose. It counts you down for the 10 minutes, and then you get off the machine. It doesn't have any known contraindications. It doesn't have any risk factors, and it's safe for children and adults to use. The cheaper versions, or should I say the less expensive versions, and there are some other versions that are seriously expensive, more expensive than the Marodyne LiV device itself, that have horrific side effects. The Marodyne LiV device has been certified by the British Standards Institute and is the only Class 2A medical device that is certified to do what it says on the tin. You have these small devices that, yes, you can purchase on Amazon, you can buy them in the pharmacies. You sit down and they give you a gentle vibration. They say that they're doing your circulation. That is all they're doing. Your knees are bent. Your circulation is not going anywhere. It's not moving any faster. It will make your feet feel better, but it is definitely not working on your muscles to cause the contractions that are needed to pull against your bones that will give you the reduction in your bone density loss that you need. Your high intensity vibration devices, I'm sure you've all seen paint shakers, and who here would go and hold a jackhammer? The intensity is too high. They do not do good. They, in actual fact, do damage. We had one very sad story of a lady who phoned me a little while ago. She'd been looking at the Marodyne. She'd gone off. She'd looked at another device, which had been recommended to her by a doctor. And she stood on the device and she actually fractured 3 of her vertebrae. So please do take care. And the cost, we've managed to bring the cost of the Marodyne LiV device down, which we're very proud of, particularly at the point that we are at the moment. So, and there is the VAT relief as well now that we've managed to get. So you are getting a device that is very high caliber. It is exceptionally precise. It doesn't do you any harm. It doesn't have any risk factors, and it does the job that it's supposed to do.
So there are other devices out there that perhaps say that they can vibrate at 30 hertz, the same as the Marodyne LiV device. What's the difference there?
Once again, you're in a situation where you are setting the actual device. You are choosing the setting on the device. And once you start doing that, you're calibrating it. You have no way of knowing that you are getting 0.4 G at 30 hertz. The chances are you are definitely not getting that, because there is no way with the changing of the settings that you will get it. And as Professor Rubin says, even if you're getting 0.4 G at 35 hertz, you are at the incorrect setting to be doing for your bones what you're trying to do.
Should we show everyone a video? Is it video time?
Right, okay. What we'll get onto now is we'll get onto a very short video, because I've spoken to a number of you who've asked about traveling with the device and storing the device. And I just wanted to show you a few things with unpacking the device and how that you have the device with the foam around it. And it's also important that when you're getting on the device, the error messages and the noise it can make. I will speak over the video. I'm not sure if you will be able to hear the rumbling noises and the different alarms, but we're hoping that you can. Right. With the Marodyne LiV device, in its carry case, please note, I always do this with mine, and I move mine around a lot when I'm taking it to different events. I always keep the edge that has the display next to the handle. So when I'm putting it down on the ground, it's not the display edge that is taking any of the impact. The foam that is around the device is there for a reason. It stops that additional vibration that you get when you're moving the device. You want to secure it as much as possible. So please always ensure that you do tuck it back under the device if you are going to be moving it around. You've got your two power points, you've got your kettle cord, and you have the power box. Please, you join the two together, you plug the power source into the electricity first, and then you plug it into the Marodyne LiV device. Then switch on the power source, and only then do you turn on the device. Once you've turned on the device, do not move it, because as soon as you move it, it's thinking it's trying to calibrate, and if you're calibrating it, then once you've moved it, you're going to put it into a loop. Once it's calibrated itself, you step onto the device. As you can see, it said go, and it will automatically start counting down your 10 minutes. It's a good idea to move a little bit on the device so it knows that you're still there. If you stand absolutely dead still on the device, you may find that it goes into standby mode, or it just switches itself off because it thinks you've gone off for a cup of tea. When it comes to the end of the device, when it comes to the end of your session, sorry, you just step off. I always like to switch, in actual fact, I always switch my machine off at the end on the toggle switch at the back, just in case it does get bumped or moved. Your correct posture on the device, please always keep your feet either side of the Marodyne display. And you will hear here, hopefully, that if you're incorrectly positioned, you get the orange lights on. I hope you can hear that. That is the sound when your balance is incorrect and you're not correcting it, it goes into an error state. Once it's gone into an error state, you will need to switch it off at the toggle switch at the back and then start it again. It will start at your 10 minutes again under that situation because you have switched it off. Always keep your plumb line as much as you can centered through the whole time that you're using the device, but just moving backwards and forwards. The Marodyne LiV device was not designed to do exercises on. It was not designed to sit on or lie on. It is there so that the vibration passes up through your feet, up through your legs, through your spine, and keeping your posture correct. You will often feel, if you put your shoulders back while you're on the device, you can feel it coming through your spine, and it's quite a lovely sensation. You will also feel it in the base of your jaw. That's when you know you get a slight chatter in your jaw, and you actually know then that your posture is correct. If you are slightly off balance, we do have a number of people who have scoliosis or who have legs where one is slightly shorter than the other. The machine will try to tell you to balance, but you will still be getting your therapeutic dose as it passes through your body. If you are drastically off balance, an alarm will sound, and it's quite a sound. Haven't managed to get that, not even myself yet, but that will let you know that you need to actually step off the device. Always please step off the device backwards as you're going, so that means that the device knows that you're actually getting off it and you're not going to fall forward. If you do need something to support yourself, the Marodyne LiV device does not come with railings. There is a picture on a website where it appears that it's the Marodyne LiV device with a railing around it. It is not the Marodyne LiV device. If you have a walker, you can use a walker. If you just want to put your fingers gently on the back of a chair to give yourself some support, that is also absolutely acceptable. Please try not to put too much pressure down with your fingers to hold yourself in place while you're on the device, because that will then change the dynamics of the therapy that you are receiving. Right, now we're going to, there will be questions and answers, but right now we're going to go over to Francine, who I met on the telephone yesterday, having watched a fantastic video that she has done recently, webinar with Professor Rubin himself. Francine does exercise for osteoporosis. She has a lot of information to share, just as our Julie Robinson has with Move It or Lose It. And I've just asked Francine to give you all a very quick rundown on what she does, what she offers, and we will be inviting Francine back, just by the way, Francine, to do part and parcel of another video on exercise with osteoporosis. So Francine, can we cross to you, please?
So I've not been able to get Francine across, unfortunately. So I think I sent her the link, so she should be able to follow that. It looks like she's online and watching, but if she can come in through the panelists, that would be fab. But we can move on to the Q&A for now. If she comes in, we'll buzz through to her. But we'll just start answering some of your questions, because there have been lots of questions that have come in, which is really great for us, that we know obviously what you're interested in and what we need to sort of fill in for you. So just looking at some questions that we've had so far, I think a main key one that people want to know is, how long should I be using my device for per day? Should I be doing more than 10 minutes per day? What do you recommend?
Right. The therapeutic level is 10 minutes per day. You can do it more than 10 minutes per day if you want, but you must leave 3 to 4 hours between each therapy that you do. Don't do 10 minutes and then get back on the device immediately and do another 10 minutes. That is not, it's not going to help, it's not going to do anything. So you definitely can do it more than once a day. I personally use mine in the morning. I have bad circulation and it really can be quite painful, and I use it to kickstart my legs, which is fantastic. No idea what it's doing for my bones as yet, but I'm doing it, believe it or not, for the pain relief. And then in the evening, I do it again before I go to bed, because it works like a sleeping pill, because I don't have that horrible dragging, pulling sensation in my legs, and it does allow me to sleep. So yes, you can definitely do it more than once a day, as long as you leave the gap in between. I was asked earlier, what is the best time to do it? Should I be doing it before exercise or after exercise? That depends entirely on you. If you've done your Marodyne LiV device and you want to get the most out of it, best to do is to wait for 3 to 4 hours and then do your exercise, because that is where you have the greatest uptake of the benefit of the device. I suggest that you don't do it when you've had a full meal. I can only imagine what happens in your gut when you've eaten. Some people do stand on the machine and have a cup of coffee. I definitely don't advocate that. I think it's just something, it's a good time when you're on the device, just to relax into the device, stand there, take the time to come to terms with the day, use it for your mindfulness, enjoy it, wait your 3 to 4 hours, either go on the device again, or go off and do your exercise classes, or if you can't exercise, or if you're not able to get out and about, just some general walking around, standing on your toes, things like that will really, really help. Next question.
Amazing. So hopefully that cleared that up. I've just seen that Francine has now joined us. So I'll pass you over to Francine. You can tell us a little bit more about exercise osteoporosis.
Sure. Can you hear me? You can hear us. Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me in this webinar. I'm very encouraged to hear that the people that are marketing this device are supporting the conjunction, the collaboration of exercise alongside the use of the device, and not just the use of the device, which I guess is my messaging, and I believe my bones message as well today, is that it should be in conjunction. And what I do is I work with people that have typically had a diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia. So that is a sort of a lesser range, not quite as severe as osteoporosis. And they come to me because they are looking for a targeted, trustworthy, reliable approach that's safe and effective. Some people are coming to me and they're already active and they're already doing exercise, but they're really looking for that targeted approach, whereby you are looking to tick off all of the guidelines that are recommended for people with osteoporosis and osteopenia. In 2018, the Royal Osteoporosis Society they formed a steering group of experts to investigate the best exercises that should be done for people with osteoporosis to look after their bones following a diagnosis. And that's great. It's formed a guidance for people like myself who are working with people. But that science is ever changing, and there might have been less of a scream about vibration therapy at the time. And also what's coming into the foreground at the moment is, for example, high intensity resistance training and impact training. So it's all very exciting, it's changing. And the only way to keep up abreast of this stuff is by working with personal trainers or physios or anybody that has training or understanding or is well read around this topic. You can absolutely, if you feel very motivated, take the science into your own hands. Some people find it quite challenging to meet the guidelines by themselves, which is why they come to someone like myself to help them make sure they're ticking off all those things on their list. And you're really looking at making sure that your exercise regime within your week has balance in it, has postural education in it, and has strength training in it. And underneath those 3 recommendations, those guidelines, there are lots of other recommendations like impact training, reaction time, and all sorts of other stuff, which I can certainly revisit the introduction of when we talk at a more extended period. Currently, I deliver live online classes to small groups, and they vary in their types of classes to suit different people and what they're looking for. Different people are at different abilities of balance as well, for example, and need a different type of approach. And everything is fed into, for example, with Pilates principles, because they're so important to everything we do. So it's very important to understand that you're coming from a principle base and then moving forward to the more challenging style of things like the impact work from a sensible base. Later in the year or next year, coming very soon, I'm very much so hoping to be releasing a course, for a preliminary course, so people have a guide for beginners for exercise for osteoporosis, which is even useful for people that are already active. And it means that you can use that to filter into what you're already doing. And yeah, I'm available for questions. So there's loads more information. You can see my website here, which I'm happy to type in the chat box. And I am new to social media, but I'm starting to certainly deliver and produce some video on YouTube, where I'm being most active at the moment. So you can find me there. And absolutely, I think Alison mentioned before, I had a very exciting 90-minute interview with Professor Clinton Rubin. And what my goal is to demystify the science. So I'm not looking to get all techie in conversations. I'm always looking to break it down so that you understand why you're doing what you're doing when you're doing it. I just want to make a very quick point that's very, very important. When I speak to people and screen people, when they come to me initially, I ask often what exercise you're already doing, what activity you're already doing. And sometimes the answer is, I walk nearly every day, or I walk 3 times a week. And I wanted to differentiate what targeted exercise is comparative to movement and enjoying your life. And there is no one telling you not to do the stuff that you're already doing, but you must understand that the recommendations for targeted exercises are very specific, very prescribed, and it's important to make sure if you're not doing it with me, you're doing it with someone else, or you are definitely attending to it. So good luck with your journey, and make sure you make the right choices. Please make the right choices. It's so important, not just with exercise and movement, and with nutrition, and certainly any other things that you're looking to put into your body. It's very important that you do your research. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for that, Francine. That was absolutely, it really was lovely. And please do type your information in if you haven't done already, so that people can see your website. And I would very much like to be able to share the webinar that you had with Professor Rubin. I must be honest, everybody, it was quite fascinating to watch Francine trying to get Professor Rubin, and she did succeed to a large extent, to speak in terminology that we can understand and to keep things more, shall I dare use the word normal, but it was lovely, and it's a great lead-in, and we're really excited to be having Professor Rubin on a webinar with us, speaking in layman's terms in October as well. And you will all be invited to that. So you'll all have the opportunity to hear what he has to say. We will ask you for your questions for that webinar as well. And we will see if we can achieve what Francine achieved 99% in getting Professor Rubin short, concise, and in layman's terms. But thanks, Francine. It's really been a privilege to get to know you in a very short space of time. One of the other questions that came in was, does using the device mean I can exercise less? We should have got Francine to answer this one. But exercise is important. There are some of you who
Francine would like to answer. She's still here.
Please go ahead.
I think that's a really interesting question, and I want to fine tune it. I'm not going to give an absolute specific, because when I was asking Professor Clinton Rubin about this sort of information, specifically about a lot of my clients who are very active in doing exercise, he pointed to the fact that what the device does is it's like a lightning switch that helps you stay on. And that's very useful for continuously staying on to regenerate your bone building. What exercise does is it sort of steps things up a little bit. Now, it's very important to understand, this is where the targeted exercise comes in. The machine can't educate you posturally. The machine can't put you through exercises that are associated with activities of daily living that are going to recoup you to prevent you from having a fall, working on your reaction time, working on your sway and balance. Only exercises can really do that, take you down to real life. And that's a really important distinction between these two things, and also pushing you to challenge yourself to that line of ability so that you are challenging yourself. I've got loads more to say about this, but absolutely do not stop targeted exercise, please. Or reduce targeted exercise.
We will be having Francine back, I promise you, everybody, because she's got a lot to share, as does Julie with Move It or Lose It as well. Right, there was another one. We've done when is it best to use the device.
I've got some questions here. If you don't, I can feed you some questions. Is that easier?
Feed me some questions.
So if I'm going on holiday and I can't take the device with me, is it okay to have breaks?
Tab, I think, can you still hear me?
Oh, sorry. To have breaks in if you go on holiday and you can't take your device with you, can you have a break in your usage?
But if you have a break in the usage, it's important to remember, as Professor Rubin makes quite clear, that if you're not stimulating your bone cells every 24 hours, they once again become couch potatoes. They don't have a memory. Your cells respond to the challenges that you give them. So if you are going away on holiday and you're not taking your device, and it's absolutely fine to take your device, but compensate. Make sure that you are walking, make sure that you are doing something, and that you're not becoming the couch potato that your cells are becoming while you're not using the device. But yes, we're all entitled to a holiday.
Brilliant. because sometimes holidays are needed. Does the device have a lifespan? Is there a warranty?
There most definitely is a warranty, and in the UK, your warranty is free. I found out the other day that in some other areas of the world, you actually pay for your warranty. The warranty is 5 years. We anticipate that the device will last longer than 5 years. In the UK, we offer a loan device system where if something does happen to your device, we collect the device, we give you a loan device to use while your device is being repaired. Please understand that, as with anything else, if it is shown to have been due to neglect or abuse, your warranty will be nullified. And this is a good time to say to you as well, that if you are traveling with your Marodyne LiV device in an aircraft, please keep it with you in the overhead locker. Do not put it in the hold of the aircraft. If you put your Marodyne LiV device in a suitcase, in the hold of an airplane, or not even in a suitcase, if it goes in the hold of an airplane, it will nullify your warranty, because the Marodyne LiV device is a sensitive computerized device. Don't have it thrown around. So yes, keep your Marodyne device with you.
Amazing. So we've had at least 3 people ask, why do I need to wear socks? It's a very good question.
It is a very good question. And I think the wearing of the socks came in from where devices were being shared, because it does, obviously, for hygiene reasons. One of the reasons that I think of is quite important is that some people sweat a lot through their feet when they're using the device. And if you are sweating a lot through your feet could become slippery on the top of the device. So if you're wearing socks, obviously that sweat will be absorbed and it just makes you more steady-footed on the device. But if you are the only person using the device, or are quite happy to share it with your partner or somebody else and not wear socks, that is entirely your choice. Shoes are not allowed, by the way. That is a definite. No shoes. Any more there?
Yes, we've had loads more. So if I have one area that's osteoporosis and the other is osteopenia, do you still qualify for VAT relief? The answer is yes.
Well,
There you go.
Leah's done that one. Yes.
Essentially, yes, any area that is osteoporotic, we just need you to fill in a really quick form online just to declare that you've had that osteoporosis diagnosis. But that is absolutely all that we need for you, so that's no problem.
Yeah, can I just add at this point as well? You do qualify for the VAT relief as well. If you have osteopenia and say diabetes or epilepsy, you will still qualify for that VAT relief, because the VAT relief comes with a diagnosed chronic illness or a disability. There are some people who don't think of themselves as chronically ill, which is absolutely wonderful. But if you don't have to pay across that £499.17 in VAT, it is an incredible saving. So if you are in doubt about a chronic illness, but you don't have osteoporosis, please give us a ring and we'll be able to guide you on that. Next one, Leah.
So we've got another question here. What kind of improvements can you expect in a sort of 1 to 2 year period?
We did a survey at the beginning of this year because we found it was very important to try and get some information from the UK and from the users that we've had to see any improvements they have been having. Because obviously, if you're having DEXA scans every 4 years in the NHS, you're not 100% sure whether you're doing the right thing or not. When we did the survey, we were very careful to ensure that we knew when we spoke to the people and they did the online forms, were they using supplementation, were they using hormones, were they doing meditation? Sorry about that. Were they taking medication? What type of exercise profiles? Were they working with physiotherapists, private therapists, so that we had an understanding of where people were in using the machine? And what we found that a number of people between 12 to 24 months, they had either shown, and it's a distinct level that you can see, where the degeneration or the reabsorption of the bone has slowed, and in a number of people it had plateaued, and in some people it had already started to have quite a fantastic increase in their bone density. And just to be specific, these were all done on DEXA scans. We will continue to collaborate and gather together all this information, and at a later date we'll be sharing it with the Royal Osteoporosis Society as well. Next one.
Amazing. So what else do we have here? Just having a look. Do you have any, well, I suppose you just covered that, any examples of success stories? I'd say, yeah, our survey results covered that quite nicely.
Unfortunately, I can't mention people by name, as you all appreciate, that is a GDPR. But there are some success stories on our website. And when we do have the permission, and we've got more results by about probably April, March next year, we will be putting those out for everybody so that you can follow them and see them as well. And there are people there who've been quite happy, who want to be able to stand up and say, this is how much I've improved.
Brilliant. So another question, can I share my device with any local friends or people in the community? Does it have a limited usage?
I know where this question came from. You can share your device, absolutely. It's your device to be shared. Please just bear in mind the moving of the machine. When your machine is switched on, do not move it. It is just unbelievably important. You place the machine down, you switch it back, switch it on with the toggle switch, allow it to calibrate, stand on it, and you get off it. If you're sharing it with somebody and you're going to be moving the device, switch it off at the back of the machine before you move it. If you want to share the device with a partner, you can switch it. You switch it on at the back of the machine, allow it to calibrate, you stand on it, it will calibrate for you, you do your session and then get off the machine, and you may find that you have to wait 15 to 20 minutes before another person can stand on the machine. It's also, in a way, I think it may be a safety thing so that you don't just carry on doing 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, one after the other. So give the machine time, and then your friend or partner can stand on the machine. It will recalibrate for them, because obviously they're not you, and they weigh more or less than you. And then the device will go into its 10 minutes to give that person exactly the same therapy that is required. About sharing it in the community, that would be up to you. Does it have a limited amount of time that it can run? In perfect honesty, that is a question I would have to ask somebody, because we've never had them in a situation. They were in Euroconnects for a short period of time for them to try it on a few people, but for the device to be used continually on a daily basis over and over and over again. Even in our consultants' rooms we have, where they have the device in London, we haven't had any problems. How many times a day are they actually being used? I must be perfectly honest, and I don't know, but I will find out and we will put it on our website.
Brilliant.
Any more questions?
Yes, they're still coming. No, it's brilliant. It's amazing. Thank you.
That's lovely. It's great to have the questions. I hope you're happy with the answers. If you're not happy with the answers, let Leah know as well.
Yes,
Next
please
one,
do
yeah.
let me know. Fabulous. So, can a fractured vertebrae repair or heal?
Your fractured vertebrae definitely do heal. Even an untreated one may leave you in agony for many, many months. but it will heal. Using the Marodyne LiV device with the very, very gentle vibration. Please don't try this at home, but if you take a glass of water, we will put this on the website for you as well. If you take a glass of water and stand it on the Marodyne LiV device, you will see how gentle the vibration is. So yes, your vertebrae is encouraged to heal by using the Marodyne LiV device. It will heal naturally as well. We don't walk around with broken vertebrae. Next one.
So we had this question in quite early on, so we might have covered it, but I just thought I'd reiterate in case anyone missed the beginning. So I've been using a 50 hertz vibration plate. Has this been detrimental?
Right. As Professor Rubin says, it is not advisable to use these high intensity machines. You're using a 50 hertz machine. I do wonder what the intensity of the machine is, but if it's physically shaking you, on Amazon at the moment, there's a lovely video of somebody standing on a machine and they are physically shaking. That is far too intense. It's far too high and would definitely be contraindicated in osteoporosis. If you would like to contact me and give me a little bit more information, tomorrow, maybe we can have a better discussion, because I've sort of only got a patch of the question there. But I hope, yeah, absolutely, 50 is too high.
Thank you. So another really lovely question that I didn't expect actually. Can I grow taller through standing on the device?
Right. Unfortunately, once your vertebrae have collapsed, which does happen with osteoporosis, or they sort of concertina, you get your Dow's hump, you wouldn't grow taller. It may prevent you from shrinking any further, but I have a few friends that if the Marodyne LiV device made you grow taller, I think they'd live on it. But no, it's not going to make you grow taller. Yeah, are there any more?
So someone's just asking again about a recording, but yes, so everyone who is on now, yes, there's absolutely going to be a recording sent out to everyone. So don't worry about that. If you missed the beginning, we'll get those all sent out, don't worry. Interest-free or credit monthly payments offered over a year. So we are looking at integrating PayPal, so I'm hoping there'll be a sort of option to split payments and to make it a little bit more accessible, but that is an ongoing process at the moment.
Please, we did used to offer the a finance as well, but honestly, it's just too expensive, and plus the fact you don't get the back relief, and there's all sorts of things involved in that. So this is why we are going down the PayPal route. And I know within PayPal, a lot of people have a 12-month credit or 3 months as cash system as well, which you would be able to choose through PayPal. And obviously there is the credit card option as well. Any more?
I think that might be everything, unless anyone's got any last minute questions they want to put through or anything that I've missed. Obviously, if there's any questions that we haven't answered, please do just get in touch with us. We'll be sending out the follow-up email as well, that will have all of the information about any contact. Oh, sorry, test results. Sorry, someone's asked me, oh, tinnitus. Oh, any difficulties with tinnitus and the device? If you could.
Sorry, can you just repeat
Sorry.
that?
Any issues with tinnitus and the device?
We haven't had any brought to our attention, and it's not tinnitus. I can't say it by this time of the day. That is not contraindicated in the use of the device. But if you would like to contact us, we can just make sure that we're all on the same page. But yes, it is fine to use the device. And are we there?
I think we're there. Thank you, everyone. Yes, as I say, if we've missed any questions at all, do just give us a shout and we'll make sure that we answer them for you. But yeah, we'll send you all of the links and the recordings across. So if you did miss anything at all, it'll be there for you. Any closing statements, Alison?
I would just like to say it's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you all for joining us. It's been super having you, and for having the questions sent through, those people who sent them through early, those people who've sent them through on the day. We will notify you of our next webinar, because I think there is a great desire, as we said earlier, about not just learning about low intensity vibration therapy, but to learn about osteoporosis, what we can do, and how we can manage what can be felt as a very devastating diagnosis. And don't forget, we'll send it out as well to keep the date in October. It's the 27th for Professor Rubin.
I'll double check.
We'll do. Sorry, we had to change the date. So we will definitely be sending the invitation out for you all to join us with Professor Rubin. And it's been wonderful having you. Thank you all very, very much for your time. And do give us a call. We're here to support you. Remember, it's not all about the device. It's about you. Take care and have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.